What you guys, got another video here for you. Microsoft blocks more customization apps in Windows 11 version 24H2. Now, the other day I did a video about blocking applications like StartAllBack, but it seems that Microsoft have now started to block other applications, and there's a big long list growing by the day on applications that will be blocked from running correctly on Windows 11 24H2, and I'll go through all this in this video. So I'm going to be upgrading here to 24H2 via this method here rather than through the Windows Update tool here, because obviously it hasn't been released to the general public yet, and it is going to be released to the general public later on this year. So what is actually going on? Well, Microsoft have added in a appraiser.sdb file into the build of 26100 and discovered that Microsoft have expanded this to the new program list of programs they don't want running on Windows 11 version 24H2 in the future. And this list could be growing by the day. Another program, which is a very popular program, which is ExplorerPatcher, which is used by a lot of people. Now you can see I've already got StartAllBack installed on the system, and when you're going through this upgrade process, it will remove it from the computer. It won't allow you to do the upgrade to the next version with that installed on the system. The same with ExplorerPatcher, which I have already installed on here. It will remove these applications, and what can happen as well is you can end up with issues with black screen of death when you boot up if you have ExplorerPatcher installed on the system, which I had on a previous install when I did 24H2 on that system, and hopefully I can show you that here in this video. So during this upgrade process, you'll see continuing with this installation of Windows will remove some optional features. You may need to add them back to the settings after your installation has been completed. And there's another one up the top there which is saying a similar sort of thing. You would need to reinstall certain language packs and things like that. So we know that it's not liking some of the things that are already on this system, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, we all know a lot of people love to tweak Windows, and they love to add a lot of tweaks in the registry. And for some reason, Microsoft, in their infinite wisdom again, have come back with a way of blocking a lot of this stuff and stopping you from upgrading and even running a version of Windows which they don't want you to do any tampering with, which is obviously 24H2. And you can already see here, because we had the ExplorerPatcher installed on the system, this is what happens during the upgrade process. Near the end, it's given me a black screen, and I just have the default menu on the screen here. And this has caused a major problem, as you can see here. And there's nothing happening on the here. I'm clicking and getting a bunch of little half circles coming up on the screen, and it won't let me do anything. So you can see I'm going to try to restart the system here and see what we get. And see if we can resolve this issue. Because it's probably to do with ExplorerPatcher, and I'm just going to let this load up here. It's going to a small screen here, and we've got a black screen of death. It's not loading in, as you can see here, and this is probably due to ExplorerPatcher. So I'm going to have to force shut down the PC a few times. You can see here I'm on a virtual machine, but it's not working, and it's not liking it at all. And this is where you're going to have to be careful if you do have any of these customization or tweaks that you've done to your system and you're upgrading to Windows 11 24H2 or you're installing 24H2, you could run into some issues. So we do know that StartAllBack has been an issue with this new update, and we also know that ExplorerPatcher and a bunch of other programs. So I'm going to test the two here. We've got StartAllBack here. When we click on this, as you can see, it's not running, and it says this application can't run on this device. It doesn't like it, and it's trying to block it. This is their new way of blocking stuff from running. So maybe they're looking to do this with a lot of these third-party applications that people use to tweak Windows and block a lot of telemetry and things like that. Maybe that's their goal, is to stop all of this happening and to block you from running any applications like this on your system in the future, because it looks that way to me, that they're trying to stop you from running certain applications on Windows 11 24H2 because they don't want you to run them. Now, there is a workaround for StartAllBack. You can basically rename the file, but ExplorerPatcher doesn't run here either. You can see ExplorerPatcher is being blocked. And there's a load of other applications that have been added to this list. I'm not going to go through them all. The ESUS disk copy and some other ones like iCloud services and a bunch of other ones as well that cause a bit of an issue with it. Even Radeon software has been blocked here. So you've got to be a bit careful with what you're doing here with this latest build. And you can see we're on 24H2 here now, and we've managed to get it installed on the system. But again, all of the applications were removed. So ExplorerPatcher was removed, and so was StartAllBack. And if you've got any other tweaks in the registry, they're probably going to be reset as well, as it mentioned at the beginning of the upgrade. So I'm going to try the renaming process of ExplorerPatcher here and see what happens, and we can see whether that allows us to run this onto the system here. So I'm just going to call it another name here, and we'll call it test.exe. And we can run it on the system. You can see it's now running, but now we get the black screen of death, and you can see it's not loading at all. So ExplorerPatcher has crashed in some way, and it's now left us with no display. So I'm going to have to full shut down the PC and reboot to see what happens, and hopefully we get back to the desktop. So I'm going to quickly boot up the system again and restart. And hopefully we can get back to the desktop of the latest version of Windows. Now, you're not going to have any of these issues if you don't tweak your system or you don't use certain applications. If Microsoft are going down this route of blocking certain applications from running on the system, and it causes major problems like this could be a major headache for a lot of people, especially if you're not clued up enough on how to fix and get yourself out of these issues by doing this. Now you can see it's starting to go a bit slow here during the login process, and ExplorerPatcher will still be running on the system on that reboot. And you can see here again we've got a black screen. It's not loading, so that's not good. Let me try and close the system down, and hopefully we can get back to the desktop. So we'll try one more time here to restart the system, and we'll see whether this resolves the issue. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because if Microsoft continue down this path, it's going to cause a lot of problems for people that like to tweak their system. And you can already see here, unfortunately, the File Explorer is crashing, and that's to do with the actual ExplorerPatcher that we used. It doesn't like what was happening to the system, and it's basically blacked out the screen. But we've managed to get back to our desktop here, but there is some applications out there that could cause a major problem where you might not be able to get to the desktop. And that's the risk that you've got to be careful of when you're doing this sort of thing. So I'm just going to quickly rename the StartAllBack here, because I know this does work. But eventually, once Microsoft see these sorts of videos, they will patch it to stop this from working. And again, it's going to just cause a lot of problems to people that have gone out and purchased programs to make their start menu better, when Microsoft seem to not care and don't want to change anything and just leave it with that rubbish start menu that you've got already for Windows 11, and again just block you from using applications that you like to use to make Windows 11 better. And again, that one seemed to work. There was a bit of a black screen there, but it seems to come back. So there you go, guys. So it looks like we're going to have to be a bit more careful with what we use on our computer system, especially when it gets to 24H2, because Microsoft seem to be clamping down on a lot of the tweaking applications that people use to customize Windows 11 to their liking. If Microsoft don't like it, they're going to block it. Now, the renaming process worked for StartAllBack, but that's not to say that Microsoft are not going to tweak it a little bit more and stop you doing that renaming process and stop the application running altogether in the future. We just don't know how far Microsoft are going to go with this particular issue here, and what sort of applications are going to be added, or scripts and applications that could be added to that list to stop them running on their version of Windows. Anyway, I hope this video has been some sort of use to you. My name has been Brian from BritecComputers.co.uk. Just want to say a quick shout out to all my YouTube members who have joined my YouTube members group, whether you're tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3. I really do appreciate the support, and I shall catch you in the very next video, or I'll see you on the Discord server for a chat. Bye for now.